Hi guys, today we're going to be doing a beginner, a little bit of some intermediate work in our Reformer class, but mainly it's quite a beginner friendly class today. So we are going to be starting with a blue spring on, and you can see here we have our long box. We've left our foot bar up because it's actually not going to interfere with our warm up. Long box is when your short edge is up against the shoulder blocks, and just make sure it's in the center. We're going to start standing next to our Reformer, feet are fist width apart and parallel. Taking a nice deep breath in as you find length through your spine, and just breathe it out here. I like to close my eyes to feel what's happening in my body. Feel your ribs expand to the sides on your inhale, and feel them sink down and knit together on that exhale. Now taking a deep breath in, and on your exhale, gently draw the chin to chest. We're curling down towards the floor as if you're peeling your spine away from a wall, one bone at a time. Keeping the pressure through to your toes to try and make sure that your bum is not sticking back. We take a deep breath in and exhale, slowly curl back up again, stacking that spine as you tuck your tailbone under, one bone at a time. And I'm just going to turn to the side here so you can see what actually happens at my hips if I'm not keeping my pressure through to the toes. So we take a deep breath in and we exhale, draw chin to chest, curling down. So what a lot of people tend to do is they'll put pressure through their heels and then they stick their bum back behind them, which, it's not the best. And the reason why is because we tend to then not utilize the backside of our body. So what we want to do, shift our way through to our toes, keep your bum directly above those heels. Then we take a breath out and we slowly curl up, keeping your bum above your heels, and you're tucking your tailbone under as you stack your spine one bone at a time. We're going to continue with some articulation. So we're going to move onto our box. Please just be careful getting on and off because it's one blue. Hands come onto the front of your box. Then we're going to kneel onto our box. Now, because my foot bar is up, I can actually just hook my feet under here and get a little bit of feedback. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and we're shoving our shins down into your box. Soft elbows to avoid hyperextending, pressing away from that box, widening those shoulder blades. We breathe in, and on our exhale, tuck the tailbone, scoop those abdominals, and slowly round the spine up towards the ceiling, looking towards our pubic bone. We're really focusing on that scoop under in that tailbone. Yes, our upper spine will round, but you see it comes from rounding that lower spine. And then we inhale, slowly stick that bum up to the ceiling, opening up the chest and looking forward in front of us. And we're just going to do two more here. Exhale. Tuck that tail, scoop those abdominals, round through that belly. And inhale, slowly sink, arching through that back. And then last one here. As we do that, we're still shoving our shins down, and that's kind of why I like to hook my feet as well, because sometimes if your feet are above, you tend to lift up in those legs, and we want to keep them anchored. And then we slowly melt back down on our inhale. Now we're going to move back onto our box, but we're going to turn around. So step off of your box to the side, then sitting back on your box, we come to place our feet onto our headrest, which is in between the shoulder blocks. Sitting at the front third of your box, we're going to reach for those straps. Take your hands in through the loops. I'm starting with our straps today, but you can do a couple trials of this without the straps. Thumbs are facing up to the sky, palms facing your knees. We find length in that spine, growing tall, breathe in. On your exhale, just like in our cat stretch, we start with that tailbone. Tuck the tailbone, scoop those lower abdominals, slowly lean back, and you'll see your reformer will move because you're just holding on to those ropes. Now we're seeing how far we can go without collapsing in the spine, breathing in through the nose, and exhale, slowly curling back up. Finding length in the spine. Breathing in, exhale, tuck the tail, scoop those abdominals, slowly curl back. Lengthening through that upper body as we inhale and exhale. Lengthening through that spine. We have two more here. We really want to focus on finding that beautiful high C shape as we go into this half roll back, and then coming back out of it, finding that length in the spine, like you're unraveling your spine, rowing tall to the sky. Last one here. Scooping those abdominals and curling back. You can do a cheeky hold here as well, just keeping that length in the spine, feeling those abdominals waking up, keeping your knees and feet squeezing to find inner connection, or connection between those inner thighs, should I say, and slowly curling back up, or the way. We're going to place our right strap back, still holding onto your left strap. Take it into the center of your body, so in line with your belly button and knees, and then you're going to reach above your left hand and grab with your right. Square off your shoulders. Your body is going to want to twist to the left. We want to keep the shoulders square. Deep breath in. Exhale to tuck your tailbone, scoop those abdominals and curl back, keeping your arms above the center of your legs. If you're on a shorter box and the rope is coming in between your legs, just gently open your legs fist width apart in parallel so the rope can come between. Then we breathe in and we exhale, come all the way up. And exhale, tuck that tail, scoop those abdominals, and we curl back. We're doing lots of articulation to start today because we're going to be lying down for a while when we do our footwork, coming back up. We're just getting that spine nice and warm. We got 2 more. Scoop and curl back, breathing in, and exhale. Lengthening through that spine. I can feel my shoulders trying to fight me here. Last one. Keeping the shoulders in line with each other. Breathing in and out. And then we're going to go to the other side. So we take left strap back onto peg, right strap, we're going to take the right hand into the loop, holding onto your knot. Once again, bringing into center so it's in line with your belly button. And then we reach above that right hand onto the strap with the left hand. Finding length through your spine, breathe in and exhale. Tuck that tail, scoop those abdominals, slowly curl back. Finding that length in that spine, breathe in and exhale, slowly curl it up. Keeping those shoulders nice and square. And once again, if your box is a little bit shorter and the strap is coming in between your legs, just take those feet and knees fist width apart. I just find it nicer to keep that connection between those inner thighs if you are able to, because we get that nice activation in those abdominals when we squeeze our adductors. Gives us a little bit of extra assistance. And exhale it up. Last one here, breathing in and exhale. Breathe in through the nose, finding length in that upper spine, and exhale to come all the way up. Strap goes onto peg. We're going to need to take our box off of the reformer, so just step off of the side of your reformer, taking your box and placing it onto the side where it's out of the way, and we're going to change onto some springs. Now, I know with level 1, we usually do 3 red springs, or you can do 2 reds, 2 blue on this kind of equipment. Today, I am going to be doing 2 reds and 1 blue because last time I did this, my calf muscle got a little bit injured. So I'm being gentle to my body. Likewise, you can always start heavier and go light if it feels too much. After that, we're going to come and lie down on our side. Not on our side, on our back. Once we're on our back, check that you're centered in your reformer, lying down. And you can lift your headrest here if it's more comfortable for you. We're starting on our heels, nice and wide. Slight turn out of those toes, pulling those feet up to the sky. And I know this is something I'm still working on, but we're trying to keep those feet flat against the wall. Nice neutral pelvis, pubic bone in line with those hip bones. Breathing in and exhale to press away. We're going to do 8 of these, controlling that tap back in. Exhale to extend. Inhale to draw it in. Feet staying up against that nice imaginary wall. And those toes are staying relaxed. So we're trying to avoid pulling the toes to nose. And it takes a lot of practice. I'm sure you'll catch me in some videos even sometimes falling prey to it. Because it's a natural thing because your toe extensors want to help those ankle extensors. We got 2 more here. Soft on your knees as you straighten. Avoid slamming your knees straight. We want to engage those quads to lift those kneecaps. Last one here. And then we're coming back all the way. Then we go into feet fist width apart in parallel. And yes, I'm lifting my head because I like to check that they are staying fist width. Sometimes my brain tells me they are and they're not. Exhale to press. Inhale to draw in. Once again, keeping that nice flat position with your feet. 4, 5. And 4. And now I am doing these a little bit faster. 3. If you have the control over your knees, you are more than welcome to. But if you find that you're losing control or banging in the stopper, last one, go a little bit slower. We're moving on to our single leg. Right leg comes into tabletop, anchoring those hips nice and evenly. And then once again, we exhale, press away. And I'm sure you're thinking, Jacqui, why are we doing it on the same spring if we're doing one leg? Because if you can stand on one leg, you can push the same amount of springs with one leg. That's how we get stronger. And 3, and 2, last 1. And we go to the other side. Opposite foot is going to lift into tabletop. Foot is in line with your knee. And once again, we exhale, press away, keeping your foot that's on the foot bar in that nice pressed up against the wall position. And 3, 4, 5. Trying to keep that leg nice and stable in tabletop. 6. And I wish I could see myself in the mirror here because I know sometimes my foot drops down. Last one, 8. And we're coming all the way back in. Then we're going to move on to toes. So taking those toes nice and wide, trying to keep them parallel. I have mine just in a slight turn out today because it's just more comfortable on my hip. Taking a nice deep breath in and exhale to press away. Those heels stay slightly lifted. Now, if you're like me and you tend to hyperextend or hyperflex those ankles, you can see how high I'm lifting my heels. Just soften. They don't need to be a high lift, just a slight lift. Think of wearing a kitten heel. And then we keep them at that height. 3 and 4. Keeping that nice neutral pelvis. 5. Fingertips and thumbs are staying in line with each other. 6. Just double checking. 7. Last one, 8. Ooh, that was a nice noisy little bang there on that stopper. And then we're going to move parallel feet. Deep breath in. Once again, exhale, we press away. You're making sure that you're not hyperflexing in those ankles. So we just got little kitten heels. And inhale it back. 2. Wrapping all 10 toes, making sure they stay connected. 3 and 4. 5, 6 and 7. Last one, 8. And we come all the way back. Moving on to single leg. Right leg comes into tabletop. Knee is over hip. Exhale, press away for 1. Inhale, draw it back. 2. Can already feel that calf starting to complain. 3 and 4. Trying to keep that knee directly over hip, and those hips are staying nice and steady. We've got 3 more here. 6 and 7. Last one, 8. And coming all the way in. Placing your opposite foot down. Once again on those toes. Left leg comes into tabletop. Breathe in and exhale to press away. Kitten heel. We're not going into that hyperextension there. And 2. 3 and 4. 5 6 and 7. Last one, 8. And all the way back. Now, you can stay on the same springs. I can feel my calf injury is not so happy, so I'm going to drop a spring. I'm just dropping two red springs instead of 2 reds and a blue because I don't want to re-injure myself. We're going to come into a small V position. Toes together, heels apart. Breathing in. Exhale, press away. Drawing those inner thighs together, keeping that slight lift in those heels. Inhale, draw it back. Trying to keep a small space between those little bones on the inside of the heels. And 3, 4, 5. 2 more here. 6. As you come in and go back, just making sure that your knees are not widening too much. We've just got like 2 fist space, so your knees are almost as wide as your hips. Last 7 and 8. Stay here for me. Keep those legs straight. We're going to do pyramid. Heels connected, toes apart. We sink those heels and lift for 1. Inhale, exhale, lift 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one, 8. Bend your knees, come into stopper. Then we go for 7. Breathe in, exhale, press away. Inhale, sink 7. Now, if you're at a slightly lower level, or like me, you might have an injury and you feel like you can't do the full 8, start at 6 and work down. Instead of starting at 8, start at 5 and work down and work your way up. Last 2 and 1. And bend your knees, come all the way back. I'm starting at 8 because that's just typically where the pyramid is start from. Then 6. Inhale, sink. Exhale, lift. 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Bend your knees, close the carriage. And then we go on to 5. Exhale, press away. Sink for 5, 4, 3. Keeping those little ankle bones separated. 2, 1. Bend your knees, close the carriage. Then we go on to 4. Sink for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend your knees, close the carriage. Almost there. We go for 3. Inhale, sink 3, 2, 1. Bend your knees, close the carriage. And exhale, press away. Sink for 2, 1. Bend your knees, close the carriage. Ooh, last one. Exhale. Inhale, sink for 1. And bend your knees, come all the way in. Relax your legs over your foot bar. Give those calves a little roll from side to side. Alrighty, then we're going to come out of this to do our next exercise. Reach those arms up to the sky. Squeeze your feet, knees, toes together. If you struggle, you can also move down and hook your legs over by bending your knees, which I'm going to just show you. So this will help you come up if you need assistance. Breathe in. On your exhale, lift your head and your chest, and we're going to curl all the way up into seated position. Now that we're up, you guys should already still have 3 springs on, so we're going to add all the rest of our springs on. So you've got all of your 5 or 6 springs on, depending on what reformer you are on. And then we're going to need to bring our foot bar down. So foot bar's coming down. This is called your safety strap. It should be nice and secure. And if you haven't used it before, please just give it a check and make sure that it is, because you need it to be nice and snug. We're just going to place our safety strap onto the platform. We're going to place our box onto our reformer in what we call short box. Now, because today is more beginner class, we're going to be just doing brown box and tilt. And then next time we'll get you the mean stuff. Okay, we can use our pole. So I did just put a pole here, and I'm just going to pop it on my reformer because we're not actually moving the reformer, so I can show you with both. If you have a pole, great. If you've got a broomstick, great. If not, you can do it without. You're going to take your feet underneath your straps. Take our feet underneath our box, toes pulling up to the sky. Make sure those legs are straight and we're widening those feet. If you're taller and you can't get into this position without a hand space behind your bum, you're just going to put the box over your shoulder blocks in between the peg and the shoulder block. So we're starting with some round back, wrapping our arms around our tummy, making sure we're sitting nice and straight, which I am not. There we go. Okay. Finding length through your spine, growing up nice and tall. Breathe in. On your exhale, imagine someone's punching in the tummy. We've got to tuck that tail, scoop those abdominals, find roundness in a C shape. And then once we have our C shape, we're going to lean back. Breathe in here and exhale. Dive forward, rounding through that spine. Breathe in. Exhale, tuck that tail, scoop back. Breathe in and exhale, dive forward. And we have 4 more here. Breathe in. Exhale to that. Every time we're working back, we're trying to make sure we scoop those abdominals away from our arms. Last 3. And dive it forward. And 2. And dive it forward. Find length in your spine as if someone is pulling your chest outside of that pelvis. That sounds morbid. Pulling your chest off your pelvis. And last one. Breathe in and exhale, dive it forward. So now for this next exercise, lengthening, growing tall. If you're not using your pole, your arms are reaching out in front of you, just a little bit higher than that shoulder height, so about halfway up to the sky. I'm going to be using my pole because that's as it was intended for this exercise. Shoulders sinking from those ears, growing up nice and tall. We take a nice deep breath in, and like our spine has got a plank on it, we're going to lean back and exhale, lean forward. Really hope you can't see my shaking on the video. This is one of my nemesis exercises. Scooping those abdominals, keep your toes pulling up to the sky. It's a reason it's called a safety strap. So should you go too far back, your feet are going to catch you. Last 2. And last one. My abs are dead after that. All right. We're going to lower our strap and our pole down, then taking our box off of our reformer once again. Just placing it onto the side. We're going to be bringing the foot bar back up to our 45-degree angle. We're going to be doing some hip work. So this you can choose to do on 2 reds if you want it heavier. I'm going to be doing it on 1 red and blue. It's just a standard that we do this on. We're going to come and lie down on our back. Once again, shoulders against shoulder blocks. Taking our feet into straps, you can either choose to keep 1 foot on, press away, taking your foot into that big loop, and then we place our other foot into our opposite strap while keeping tension through the other leg. Heels together, toes apart, arms by your sides, squeezing those heels together, toes apart. Your knees are just hugging your straps inside of your legs, and we take a deep breath in, exhale to press away. Finding that nice neutral pelvis once again, so small space underneath that lower back, making sure that we keeping the pubic bone and hip bones at the same height, like you can rest a teacup on that pubic bone without it spilling. And as we work in our hip work position, we're keeping those feet pointed, but toes are relaxed and splayed. So it's almost like your toes are doing this, but your feet are pointing. So we don't want to curl those toes because it's going to cause a cramp. We have 4 more here. Heels stay at the same height, squeezing together. 3. And as you press away, make sure that you're soft on those knees, drawing those inner thighs together to connect. Last one. Hold it here. Now, I like to place my hands on my pubic bone to make sure that it's not shifting. We're going to inhale, lift our feet towards the sky, squeezing those heels. I am quite mobile, so I can get my legs quite high up, but I can feel like my pelvis wants to start tilting towards my face here. So I exhale and press back down. Making sure that as you lift, you listen to your body. We want to go as high as we can without squishing a little blueberry that's underneath our lower back, or without tilting your pelvis towards your face. So we don't want to pull that pubic bone towards our face. Once again, you can imagine you've got a little teacup on your pubic bone, so you don't want to spill your water onto your belly. And 2. Drawing those inner thighs together, activating those quads. 1. Hold it here. We're doing a small variation on openings today. So we're going to inhale, open our legs, separating them. Then I want you to pull your feet towards you. So if you're drawing a smile with your feet, when you feel a stretch up those inner thighs, exhale to squeeze your feet down and connect. So you're essentially opening, pulling them towards you, drawing that smile. And exhale, press down and connect. Lovely. We have 4 more here. Keeping that pelvis nice and steady. I like to watch my toes with my eyes because I sometimes find that as I move, my one leg wants to go a little bit wider than the other, or one wants to move faster than the other, and that's quite normal because we all have asymmetries in our body, one side stronger than the other. So we want to try and create symmetrical movement. Last one. And we're going into up circles. Inhale to lift. Open those feet. Exhale, press down and around. And 2. 3, and 4. Open on your inhale, exhale, press down and around. Once again, if you're not sure how big your circles can be, you can place your hands on your hips. And if you feel like you're rocking or you may be tucking that tailbone under, you're going too far. We're going to pause here because we've done our 8. We're going to switch directions. So this time we inhale, open, lift up and around, point of no return. So that's where we feel like we're going to tilt that pelvis, and then we exhale, press down. Inhale, lift up and around, circle those legs, exhale to press. And just like openings, I like to watch my toes to make sure that my legs are moving evenly so that I don't have one leg maybe opening up wider than the other or one moving slower than the other. And we're getting those heels to connect in the center of our body. Last 2. And last 1. And we're going to have a little adductor stretch here. So you can lift your legs up to the sky, let your back flatten, open up your legs. When you're here, you can grab just above where those knots are on your straps and pull your elbows into the sides. If this is too strong for you, an alternative stretch you can do is bending your knees, placing the soles of your feet together, and having a butterfly stretch instead. Either one, whatever feels more comfortable for you, you can have that stretch as you're breathing in and out. And if you are having butterfly stretch, just hold your straps so that your feet don't flop unless you're short enough to get your feet onto the carriage, or lucky enough to have a short torso to do so. Okay, then we're going to take our feet out of straps, taking one foot out, place it onto your foot bar, and then we close that carriage, placing the opposite foot onto foot bar. Reach your legs out in front of you, and I want you to just shuffle away from your shoulder blocks here so you've got some space. We're going to practice for an exercise called teaser. So the palms come up to the sides. Usually this exercise is done with the arms overhead, but we can't do that because of our shoulder blocks. So we're going to imagine we're trying to scoop up water. Squeeze those feet, knees, toes together. Breathe in. Lift your head and your chest as you reach your fingertips towards your toes, and peel your spine off. Now, if you need to, you can hold on behind your legs here, but we're trying to see if we can rise vertebra by vertebra, finding length in that spine, and then we exhale, slowly roll down. One bone at a time. Arms come up into a T, and exhale. Bring those fingertips down to those sides. Squeeze those feet, knees, toes together. Reach those fingertips along, and exhale. One bone at a time. Last one here. You can also bend your knees over the foot bar if you need extra assistance. Inhale, fingertips to toes. Lift the head and the chest. Peeling that spine off. And we're going to come and step off of our reformer. Okay, we're going to be taking off our red spring so that we're on a blue spring. Facing forward. I want you to just take yourself finger space away from your shoulder blocks so you can feel if you're slumping into it. Crossing our legs. If you struggle here, put the box in short box, sit on your box instead. We're going to grab those straps, 4 fingers in, thumbs outside of those small loops. Pull your arms just in front of the side seams of your shirt, and then we're going to bring our arms into a T position. Side bending your elbows. We want to find length in the spine. Now, automatically, the body wants to lean back, so we want to keep even pressure on those seat bones and pubic bone. Deep breath in. Exhale, pull those arms forward as if you're hugging a massive tree. Can't get those fingertips to touch. Inhale to open, keeping your shoulder blades wide as if there's a toothpick stuck between those shoulder blades. You don't want to pinch on that toothpick as you're coming back open with those arms. Finding length in those arms for 3. Elbows stay out to the sides as if they were resting on a tabletop. 4. And those fingertips stay in line with those shoulders, which are sinking from those ears. 3. And you can see I don't bring my elbows all the way back, because if you bring them too far back, you end up poking up your chest or squeezing the shoulder blades together. So your elbows are just in front of the line of the shoulders and they're slightly bent. So the fingertips are even further in front of those shoulders. Last one. So if you lose sight of your fingertips, you know you've gone too far. And then we're going to lower those arms back down. We're going to be changing our spring. You can stay on a blue spring if arms are not your strong suit. I'm going to a red spring. If you want a challenge, go into that red spring. We swing around to the other side. Palm space between our bum and the back of the reformer. We're going to grab those straps, taking our hands, 4 fingers in, thumbs are out. Squeeze our feet. together and your legs are in between your shoulder blocks. If it's uncomfortable, cross one foot over the other. Finding length in that spine, growing up tall. Deep breath in. On our exhale, we're going to press our arms back just in line with the side seams of our shirt. Then we breathe in. And exhale, press a little bit further. Inhale, pull them forward, keeping tension in your ropes. Don't let them go slack. And then exhale to press. Inhale, draw it forward. Exhale to press, keeping the spine nice and tall. I was looking down at my knees and I was like, oh, my neck is probably at a terrible angle. And those shoulder blades are also staying, drawing down away from those ears. Last two. And last one. And slowly drawing all the way back. Grab those straps. Arms are out in front of you. Sorry, I made myself a little bit skewed there. Making a fist, we're going up tall. Fist stay in line with your elbows and your shoulders to start. Then we breathe in and exhale. Pull the fist towards us, making sure the elbows stay high so they're not dropping down below our shoulders. We want to keep them in line with those shoulders and inhale to straighten. Now you can see I can't straighten all the way because my ropes get slack. It's fine. Exhale. We're just going to where we can without losing that slack. And 3. Those elbows are staying tucked in. We avoid flaring them out like a chicken. And we're growing tall through that spine for 3. Wrists are staying flat. 2, like they're wedged between 2 rulers. Last 1. And inhale, straighten those arms all the way. It's a nice little burn. Okay, we're going to take the straps back onto pegs. We're going to turn around, leave our nail springs. We're staying on a red spring. We're going to be doing some elephant. Okay, so we're going to start with just prepping for elephant, and then I'm going to show you the full exercise. If you're not comfortable doing the full exercise, just do the prep. We have our hands on the foot bar, and we stand up onto our reformer. Please make sure you don't release the foot bar. Start closer to the front of your reformer so that you can move back according to your height and flexibility. Thumbs are wrapping over the top so we can keep those wrists nice and flat. Lower your head and chest down so that you're looking between your thighs. Then you're going to slowly step back, small little steps, moving your bum back with you. The aim here is we want to keep our bum directly over our heels. So if you find that you go so far back that you can't get your bum back over your heels, then you've gone too far. Then you just walk a little bit forward. So I am a little bit taller, so I'm going to see if I can bring my feet up against these shoulder blocks. And this reformer is actually quite long, so for me that's quite a big stretch. So I'm going to move mine just in front of those shoulder blocks. Shoulders are away from those ears, bum directly over those feet. We're rounding through that lower spine. So we're tucking the tail under to get a nice roundness in that lower back. Lift your toes. And I want you to just start here. Pull that carriage in to stop it so that reformer's not moving. Toes are lifted, shoulder blades wide, roundness in that lower spine. Now we're going to go into elephant here. We breathe in, press the reformer away, keep those toes lifted, keep roundness in that lower back. And then we exhale, pull forward. Movement is coming through those hip joints. So there's no movement in the shoulders and the chest, almost as if we're a statue with our upper body. Just hinging through those hips. And you can see I don't go too far. And the reason being here is if I go too far, I start to unravel in my lower back, which you don't want. You want to stay in that roundness. And 2, toes stay lifted. And 1. Then from here, relax those toes, shift your weight forward, take your shoulders over your bar, and then you're going to bring your knees down to the carriage. Walk your feet back, keeping those toes tucked under. The heels right up against those shoulder blocks. We're going to lower our bum down towards our feet, so we've got a fist space between bum and heel. You know you're in the right spot if you lift your hands and there's no movement in your body, because if you're leaning too far forward and you try to lift your hands, you're going to fall. Likewise, if you're too far back, you're going to fall onto your bum. Okay, from here, chest is staying open, spine is staying long. We take a deep breath in as we press the reformer back. Once again, your upper body is a statue. There's no movement. And then we exhale, pull the knees forward, bum back. And inhale. Knees back. And exhale, pull it forward. My shoulders are staying same position in space. as if someone has their hands up against my shoulders and I'm trying to make sure I'm not moving away from them. The only thing that's moving is those knees. And then you're opening up the hips as if you're opening a book. Wrong breath. Inhale back. Exhale forward. And we're going to relax down here. We're going to change our spring. Last two exercises, last exercise, and we're going into a stretch. So we're going to go into a yellow spring. This is prep for front splits, side splits, not front splits, side splits, which is a more advanced exercise. So this one we're doing on our knees. Take your red spring off. We're going to need to take our foot bar down. Facing your foot bar, pull it towards you, lower it down. Now there's lots of variations in this exercise, but I am just going to be doing 2 of them and then moving on just to try and mimic what we do in our front split series. So take your hands to the far side of your platform. You can see hand is on the stable part first, then you move on to the movable part with your other hand, which is your carriage. Knee comes to the center of your platform. Make sure it's not too far back, because if it's far back, you're going to have no support on your shin. Then opposite knee comes up in line with your knee that's on the platform. If you ever want to move on, move the movable leg, not the not movable leg. Then we bring our hands up onto our hips. Even pressure on both knees. If you're putting more on one side than the other, you're going to feel one side more than the other. Finding length in your spine. Deep breath in. We open the carriage, keeping a slight tuck in our tail. And then we exhale and come back. And squeeze that carriage closed. So although we have technically one leg on the movable part of the reformer, we're working both adductors because we have to pull in with both of them to get ourselves back into stopper. For 3. Staying tall, chin is parallel to the floor. And 4. 5. And 6. 2 more here, 7. And last one, 8. And we're going to stop there. Now we're going to move on to the side split. So we're bending it down. Imagine like we're going into a little bit of squat. Inhale to open. Exhale, as you come close, lift the head and the chest. Tuck that tailbone under, finding length in that spine. And inhale, bend. Take those hips back as you open. Pubic bone is always staying in the center of that open space of your springs. And we exhale, come up. And 3. And 4. And although it's a light spring, you want to come back controlling against that resistance. Last 2 here. And last one. And then just for the sake of mimicking what we were doing from splits, we're going to be doing the other side. So take your hands down onto your platform and carriage a bit. Again, step your carriage leg back, platform leg back, and then we're going to move on to the other side. Once again, hands come down, platform and carriage. Knee comes into the center of your platform, then the center of your carriage. In line with each other. If you need to move one, you adjust your carriage leg and just make sure you're not right on the edge of your carriage. Lifting the head and the chest, squeezing those knees together, growing tall, deep breath in, press away as far as you can without sticking your bum back because we want to stay tall on this one. And exhale to come back. 1. And inhale, open. And 2. And 3. Finding length through that spine. 4. And 5. We have 3 more here. 6. And 2 more. 7. Last one, 8. And then we're going to go into that squat again. So once again, we bend the bum back, chest will come forward slightly. Inhale to open, then exhale, close and come up nice and tall, gently squeezing that bum. Inhale to open. And you're making sure you got even pressure on both knees. Exhale to bring it up. 2. Shin staying connected. 3. And 4. 5. We have 3 more here. Controlling those springs open. Controlling them close. 6. Last 2, 7. I can feel which leg is my weak leg because that's the one that I'm feeling it on. Last one. Close it all the way. Take your hands down, placing your 1 foot back, and then your platform foot back. Once again, we're going to bring our foot up. We're moving on to stretches. Moving on to red spring here. Taking your yellow off. Kneeling on your carriage. Hands come onto that foot bar, shoulder width apart. Tuck those toes under against your shoulder blocks. Trying to get your heels right up against the shoulder blocks. These shoulder blocks move, so I can't quite get my heel up against them. But you're trying to get your heel completely flat. Make sure your knees are in line with your feet, not your hips, because your hips might be wider or narrower than the foot blocks, in which case, the shoulder blocks, you're going to put uneven pressure on your kneecaps. So we're going to take right leg forward onto our platform. Shin is connected onto your foot bar, making sure you've got more pressure on your foot than on your knees so it doesn't cause pain. Find length in your spine, breathe in. On your exhale, press back, lift your chest, sink your hips. Finding length in your spine as you keep your shin connected. Inhale to close and exhale to open. We're trying to keep that chest away from the thigh because the further it is, the more stretch you're going to get into that hip flexor. And last one. Then from here, let's actually start at close. So we inhale to close. Then you're going to disconnect your shin, lift your toes and your forefoot, and we exhale, press back, straightening that front leg. Now, if you need a little bit more, grip here, inhale, come all the way back. What you can do instead of keeping your heel in the center of the platform is take it closer to the edge so that you can push into the edge of the platform. And then you lift up, press away, straighten that leg, keeping those hips nice and square, shoulders relaxed. If you've got the flexibility, you can press further back into more of a split. And then we inhale, come all the way up. Oh, and watch those shoulders. Last one. Exhale, press away. Keeping right hip drawing back, left hip drawing forward, and come back all the way in. Let's do the other side. Knee comes back. Once again, we're getting that foot up against that shoulder block as far as you can. Then left shin is up against platform. Keeping more pressure on your foot than your knee. Breathe in, and on your exhale, press back, lift your chest. Inhale to close. And exhale to open. Sinking in those hips, lifting that chest. And 3. Last one here, 4. And then we inhale, come all the way back. Once again, we can press our heel into that platform, lifting our toes and forefoot as we straighten that front leg. And shoulders relaxed, chest stays open. Inhale, come all the way back. I'm also slipping a little bit here today, so I'm just going to bring my heel a little bit closer to the edge of the platform for some more grip. And exhale, press, straighten away. Inhale, draw it all the way back. Last 2 here. Going to keep those hips square. And inhale it back. Last one. Once again, if you do have the flexibility, you can go back a little bit further. And then we're going to go all the way back in. Stepping off of your reformer, we're going to finish with our roll down, just like we started. So feet are going to be fist width apart and parallel. Finding length through that spine, taking a deep breath in. And on your exhale, draw chin to chest, curling down towards the floor, one bone at a time. Let the crown of the head just hang nice and heavy to the floor, finding length through the spine. As we take a nice deep breath in and exhale, slowly curl back up again, stacking that spine one bone at a time. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed today's class.